morning and welcome to Weekends with Whitney. We have a red-hot show lined up for you.
Engine 5, dispatch. Pockets of fire all around.
These artists set the night on fire. As children, most of us were told not to play with fire. Well, these adults not only play with it, they flirt, twirl, and throw it. Find out why nothing is too hot for these people to handle and what fuels their passion. Plus, fire in a different light. At 80 years old, it burned Miss Daisy's 180-year-old historic home to the ground. She lost everything and moved to Baton Rouge with nothing except the clothes on her back. How she bounced back. It's an incredible story of resilience and the strength of the human spirit. And all aboard the Energy Bus. Dr. Nick takes us on an inspiring ride to overcome adversity. It's a powerful roadmap to true accomplishment. And wowee, a Louisiana sauce made down on the bayou that went from one woman's kitchen to grocery stores across the country. And speaking of wow, we begin with a rare group of people enchanted and fascinated enough with fire to dance with it.
Come on, baby, light my fire.
They're part performer, part artist, part daredevil. They're called flow artists. Together, they're spectacular. Poi spinner Wade Cantu organized this group 6 months ago.
I mean, everybody has an outlet. I mean, you got artists that paint, you got people who play music. I mean, when I do this, I completely lose myself and go into a different state of mind, you know, just so relaxing, therapeutic. It's almost like meditation in a way.
Amanda Kirkwood had a long fear of fire. Despite having spina bifida, to conquer her fear, she danced with it.
It's got that kind of lost in another world kind of vibe. And when you have the fire around you, you can hear it swishing and you can feel the warmth on your skin. And when you do it with many people, it's the most mesmerizing feeling that you could ever have.
It's mesmerizing for spectators like Shayla Edwards, too. She was just walking the levee and walked right into a performance.
Really captivating, and you know, some of them were really graceful. The fire was just crazy. I can't even imagine doing that type of stuff, you know, way beyond me.
No one gets paid. They do it for fun.
Gives people a good thing to look at when they come down here at the levee, puts a smile on people's faces.
It looks magical, but it's not magic. It's common torches and wicks dipped in white gas, lamp oil, or a combination of the two. Sarah Bolton trained 18 months before adding fire to her hoop.
While it's fun, it's exhilarating, it is dangerous. You can get horribly burned. I've known people who have gotten very badly burned. That's why it's all about safety.
No one here sets anything on fire without a safety blanket, fire extinguisher, bucket of water, and 100% cotton or fire retardant clothing. Synthetic fabrics will melt to your skin.
We get burned occasionally.
Anything bad?
No, I've never been to the hospital for any serious burns, or just use aloe occasionally.
John Scott did martial arts as a child. He says he put those skills to better use when he started throwing fire 9 months ago.
I enjoyed bow staff, and then I wanted to find a nicer way to use our skills instead of the violent forms that come with martial arts. And this way in flow arts, we can transition it to more of self-expression and artistic.
Fire hooping ironically helped Shannon Tyndall heal after fire destroyed her family home.
Because I just wanted to do it, you know, for myself and my family as kind of like a phoenix rising out of the flames kind of experience, but it touched a lot more than that.
Her friend captured the incredible images on camera.
I fire hooped in the room that the fire started. I fire hooped right outside of the house, the skeleton of the burned down house. To have, you know, done fire in front of it was a very, I don't know, surreal part of my life, you know? Like, I don't know, it's like It's like doing something with water in front of something that you know drowns. It's very therapeutic in a very odd way.
It's therapy for Wade too.
At the beginning of the year, I had a lot of problem with stress and anxiety and everything, and coming out here and spinning fire, that kind of helps me take the negative energy and turn it into positive energy.
They share that energy with anyone who wants to watch or jump in. That's so generous of you with your time and energy and talent. Some people would say, oh, this is a secret.
Everybody here, no matter if you spin hoop staff or fans or poi or anything, we're always willing to teach someone else how to do it.
No fire for beginners. They use LED lights instead. But look how spectacular that is too.
It's grown progressively, and I've loved to see like our Flow family grow, because it's not just fire, it's like you can see here, it's everyone, you know, who's learning flow arts, and that's a beautiful thing to see.
You have this element that you don't normally get to interact with, and you are the one controlling and bending it. So it kind of makes you feel like a wizard.
If you'd like to see them in person, head to the Levee in downtown Baton Rouge at Florida Street on Wednesday and Friday nights. They start right around dusk. And still to come on Weekends with Whitney. When fire takes a different turn, it may have burned down 80-year-old Miss Daisy's home, but it did not extinguish her spirit. How she bounced back and right into Baton Rouge with nothing except the clothes on her back. Plus, Dr. Nick takes us on an inspiring ride to reveal the secrets for approaching life and work with the kind of thinking that leads to true accomplishment. And how the makers of Wowe down on the bayou turned a family secret into a commercial success, as Weekends with Whitney continues.
Maggio, the only way to go. Maggio Buick GMC, your satisfaction's our specialty. We really deliver on Falls River, here in New Roads. Small town atmosphere, legendary service for over 60 years. Maggio, the only way to go. The only way to go, that's Maggio.
Go Roof is proud to serve the Baton Rouge and surrounding areas with our years of experience and quality service. We want more than just your roofing needs. Go Roof cares about the client and wants you to be our customer for life. Roof replacement, repair, vents, and more. Go Roof will get it done. We have excellent standing relationships with all the top insurance companies, so making your claim is fast and easy. A beautiful roof every single time at Go Roof. Call now for a free estimate.
This segment brought to you by all of our friends at St. James Place. Welcome back to Weekends with Whitney. You're about to meet a woman named Daisy, but even in her 80s, she's as strong as a magnolia. You'd never know Daisy Howell lost everything 6 months ago, unless you ask. Her smile radiates, her spirit cheerful, and her hopes high.
It has been an experience.
Her Centerville, Mississippi plantation home, Forest Hill, held its own history dating back to 1836. But most treasured for Daisy was the 4 generations of her family history that went up in smoke because of a faulty generator.
For lunch, and I was upstairs reading my book, and my dog was with me, and we noticed this, I noticed this odd odor, and the lights wouldn't come back on. So I went downstairs, and the house was filling with smoke. So I went back, got my dog, did not even think about my purse. No identification, no money, no nothing.
She drove to a neighbor's house to call the volunteer fire departments. But in her heart, she knew it was already too late.
The flames had taken off. I mean, it was, as I say, it was like a tinderbox. It was, and I just knew, and I knew that with the smoke in there, that they would not be able to get inside to fight the fire, and they couldn't fight it really from outside. They tried. There were 5 or 6 fire departments that came, but there was just nothing. Nothing that could be done.
Daisy had been widowed 8 years. To get through another tragic loss, she had to dig deep.
I was practically comatose for 3 days. And on the 3rd day, I decided that life does go on. So I had to decide what I wanted to do. And I said, do I want the responsibility of another house? It didn't take long for me to say no.
Then her mind almost instantly sharpened, she says, and she decided exactly where she should go. St. James Place, which was founded by her Episcopal church.
As I made up my mind I didn't want a house, I came over here. And they took me in. They gave me, I had nothing. I had no clothes. And I was so pitiful. For a while, after about 3 days, I asked them if I could buy this furniture that they had in the apartment. I mean, they moved it around from one spot to another. I just wanted something of my own, you know. They said, no, Miss Daisy, but you can use it as long as you need it. And they were wonderful to me. I mean, and I made friends. I had old friends. I made new friends, and everybody has just been wonderful.
I asked if she felt God's hand in all of this.
He's there.
But you felt him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I must say I've been mad with him, too. I'll never deny that.
Do you ever miss the big house?
Oh yes. Oh, yes. And it's really funny. I've had people say, what do you miss the most? I'll say, it depends on the category. For instance, I paint and I sketch, and I have 30 years of sketchbooks that were totally destroyed. And I loved horticulture, and I had a whole horticulture library. And so, you know, it just depends. And every day or every other day, there's something that I say, oh, I need that. It's gone.
Most people, if they had lost 4 generations of things and memories and heirlooms, would have been in a comatose way longer than 3 days. So how did you pull yourself out of it?
Well, Whitney, I guess I just wasn't ready to cash in, you know? And I mean, I've had my days, I still have my times, you know, to grieve. But I said, doggone it, life goes on, people go on, and I'm gonna go on as long as I can.
How can you afford the best retirement ever? In 3 words, St. James Place. It's easier to plan for your future when you know what your future costs may be. The surprisingly affordable life care benefit at St. James Place provides for the quality amenities and services you want, as well as the assurance of help whenever you need it, all for one predictable monthly fee. Count on the best retirement ever at St. James Place and live life well. And now, how do you take a secret family recipe and turn it into dollars and dreams? With desire and dedication. Down along the bayou in Cutoff, Wowe dipping sauce has taste buds dancing. It's the dream child of Charlie Como's wife, Louise.
Grandmother and her started this years and years ago.
Okay.
She made it as a young child, you know.
Yeah.
And she's always wanted to do this 20 years ago. 25 years ago, she said, one day I'm gonna put it in a bottle, and here we are.
It's a small family-owned company, big on flavor. They launched it 4 years ago with one product. Louise's brother-in-law, Glenn, runs the day-to-day operation here at their manufacturing plant. Why do people love it so?
Well, it's different. What it is, it's something that people in this area have made for a long time. It's a generational recipe.
Now, new generations are enjoying it across the country, like Maddie Uffman.
It's a really good taste, kind of tangy, a little tangy. I like it.
Charlie knew he had a winner on his hands the first day it hit grocery stores.
So the first time we did a demo, this lady came and she tasted the sauce. She started walking to go shopping. She turned around and came and buy a bottle. I knew we had something if we could get somebody to turn around. Now, one thing to let y'all know, women, we can get women to taste them, men won't.
Why?
They men.
And just for those men, this football season, they rolled out something new, Southwest Chip Dip. It's their 5th product. The others are a spicy version of the original and 2 tartar sauces.
Whereas the dipping sauces are generally used with crawfish, a lot of people are using them with fried foods. So they're year-round, but we definitely see a peak when people are boiling crawfish. But that chip dip, we're hoping, does really well with the tailgating, with the football parties, because it's a chip dip. And unlike like our dipping sauces, there's nothing like it on the market.
Sales are snowballing.
And so we're growing pretty rapidly. They've gone from about 300 locations to about 850 right now.
It's wowing everything.
Our mascot for Wowe is a raccoon. And in French, a raccoon is called the Shawi. Shawi loves Wowe.
You can find Wowe in almost any of our locally owned grocery stores across South Louisiana. And now, even Walmart has picked it up. Still to come on Weekends with Whitney. Climb aboard the Energy Bus with Dr. Nick for greater success in every facet of your life.
Hi, I'm Drew Detlitz, and welcome to Camp Bow Wow.
We are Baton Rouge's premier doggy day camp, daycare, and behavioral training facility. Spanning over 14,000 square feet, your dog has plenty of room to play. We have covered yards that'll protect your dog from the sun and rain. We have a state-of-the-art HD monitoring system so you can watch your dog throughout the day. And don't forget, we also offer luxury suites.
So, stop in for a tour today and schedule your interview and get your first day free. This is Camp Bow Wow, where a dog can truly be a dog.
Some days we wake up and we just feel like $1 million, and other days we think maybe we should just go back to bed. Well, maybe if you had an energy bus, more days would be like those glorious days. Dr. Nick joins us with that and more. Good to see you.
What a pleasure. What a pleasure. This is a great book called The Energy Bus.
I'd never heard of it, Nikki. Tell me about it.
Wonderful book. Well, I want to tell you a quick story that is a true story.
Okay.
The year is 1994. I go to Bermuda with a very good friend of mine. I had 1993, just finished my doctorate internship. I was going to give myself a trip. Good friend of mine, we go to Bermuda. We're leaving Bermuda on a very ugly, sloppy, miserable, rainy day after a week of absolute delight. We get on the bus with probably about 15 or 20 other people that are going to the airport to catch a flight, and they're also in this miserable weather and miserable mood. So there is negativity throughout the entire bus. The energy, and Einstein says the world is about energy. The energy was flat. We wouldn't smile. We wouldn't say hello. Nothing.
Ooh.
And guess what happens?
There's a flat tire.
A big black lady gets on the bus behind the wheel and starts roaring enthusiastically about what a great day it is and where we're all from and where we're going and did we have a good time and what did we do and what's your name? She created her own bus of energy. She changed the entire mood of that bus from negative to where we were laughing and cutting up and we're hugging people when we got off the bus.
No kidding.
Saying, it's great to have met you. Well, I hope you have a safe trip home. Glad you had a good time. Now that's powerful. That's powerful. And that's what this is about. A lady who's driving the bus has to pick up this man whose car's in the shop and he has to take the bus to work.
Okay.
And so that's how it builds, where she's trying to teach him the rules of life.
Oh.
But Whitney, I promise that's a true story.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
a true
sure.
story.
But this is a Wall Street Journal bestseller. And
It is.
It says 10 rules
10
to fuel
rules.
your life, work, team with positive energy. So some of these we want to linger on more than
Yeah,
others.
just a couple let's look at.
But the first is, of course, you're the driver of your own bus.
You're the driver of your own bus.
And it says desire, vision, and focus. Move your bus in the right direction. Just pretty much what we were talking about.
Yeah, that was one of the chapters, though, that I struggle a little bit with.
Okay.
Because, again, he has the questions. What is your vision? What is your purpose? What is your focus? And you know, Whitney, I'll be quite honest with you. I feel like if someone were to say, what is my vision, or what is my purpose, or what is my mission in life, I would say I feel like I am a servant leader. That's what I want to do. Now, how that plays out is going to change. So therefore, it does have focus. Right now, I'm trying to raise money for American Cancer Society.
Right.
So it gives me excitement, and I'm focused, and of course my job as a counselor and my gigs as a musician. But do you see where sometimes we get caught up too much with write it down? Don't you know?
Yes.
Don't you know? I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I bet you could say, Nikki, this is my vision, or this is my mission.
Yes, right, right. And well, simply, I'd probably say I want to make a positive difference in the world. And there's
What's
so many
a greater
avenues
mission?
that you can
What's
do
a greater mission? And then you take that mission, that vision, and you start putting it and focusing it. Like right now, you're doing a lot with the show.
Right, right, the TV show.
Okay.
Right, but then there's also
But
my
you're
children.
doing other things too, and you're volunteering, and you're emceeing.
You're right.
And you have children to raise, and a husband to care for. So but I just wanted to be clear that we don't have to go sit. This is the. It can change,
And
but
it
there's
should
a
change.
basic, but there's a
Probably the
basic
adaptability of
impetus.
us.
There's a basic impetus
Of what we all-
of
that
what we all
drives
are.
us.
Yeah, and I think under that servant leader in me, I would hope would always be mercy and compassion. That would be almost fueling that. So you see how? But again, I'm 60. I've had time to kind of pull all this together. And what I want to be. And it's not about making money. It's about being true to that light and that vision that I feel like I've been created for. And yours for you, what you've been created for, to make a positive difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just so deep in there. I couldn't shake it if I wanted to.
And
I hope everyone can find that in themselves. What is it?
But don't you understand that you don't need to write it down?
I do.
You don't.
Live it.
Just, you know it. People know it already, what they're called. And if they don't, find it.
Right, right. Oh, I think that's...
Discover it. Find it.
Because it's all going to be different. You're as much as we love each other and enjoy a lot of the same things, it's different.
Of
I mean,
course
yours is
it's
different than mine.
Of course it's different.
Yeah, yeah. So find yours. Fuel your ride with positive energy is another one.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier in another segment, there's a lot of negativity, particularly in the workplace. This is really a workplace book. And the suggestion is that, we lose a lot of money each year on just the lack of productivity because of negativity. Negativity takes over. But I found the book, one of the things that was so interesting about it was, he was talking about, again, the law of attraction. When I got my new car, okay, I started noticing that car on the road.
Other cars? Oh, you mean
My
like
car.
your... Oh.
Because it's a law of attraction. So when you think about it in that way, it's like, well, wow, if I'm thinking positive thoughts about people, I'm probably going to attract people that think positive thoughts.
Okay. Now, this is interesting because you say that this book is also, The Energy Bus, about workplace, targeted toward workplace. And one of their rules is don't waste your energy on people who don't get it.
or don't want to get on your bus.
Don't want to get on your bus.
Or who get on your bus but are really trying to do you in.
Yes.
And he talks about energy vampires. He says stay away from energy vampires.
Yeah. But so how do we avoid letting those vampire energy suckers from ruining our day, ruining the workplace, or ruining your new assignment?
Well, this is where it becomes, again, a struggle. We cannot avoid, we can't move to another planet.
But what is it about human nature that sometimes somebody won't like us, or they don't want to get on our bus, we'll say it, or is the energy vampire, and we spend an incredible amount of time and effort and energy trying to woo them? Why is it? Instead of focusing on all the people who have that, maybe let's say workforce team of 8 people, and you've got 7 great workers, but you will spend 40% of your time trying to get this person on board. It seems so counterintuitive, and yet is it part of us that just wants to say we can win them over, or we can do it, or I don't know.
Let's go back to the number 1 rule.
Okay.
What's the number 1 rule?
You are driving your own bus.
And what are you doing when you let those other 7 people invade you?
You are sharing the energy, and you're on their bus.
Either on their bus or you're giving them the wheel. Whitney, when I think about some of the, and I don't mean it as a judgment, when I think about some of the people that I have to deal with, I call it principalities and powers. You know, it's draining. It's either actively vampiring or passively. And by the way, I think there are times when we can all become that way.
Sure.
So, I mean, we have to be honest and vulnerable with that. I mean, I can get very insecure and all that. But when I get to where I'm feeling like I'm around vampires, that's when I have to again focus on the people that give me life. I know who I can depend on to ride my bus with me.
May we all have a great energy bus going into
10 rules.
This week ahead. Thanks, Dr. Nick.
Good to see you.
It's always a pleasure. Thanks so much. Much more Weekends with Whitney right after this. Atlas Foundation Repair, fixing your foundation problems for more than 30 years while preserving and protecting your trees. Thanks for starting your Sunday with us. Be sure to tune in next week as I sit down with LSU's only Heisman Trophy winner, Billy Cannon. 56 years ago, he made his famous Halloween run against Ole Miss. Now he talks candidly about his career, his time in prison, and his redemption. Plus, next Sunday is All Saints Day. We'll take you to a graveyard that was nearly forgotten, how folks are bringing it back to life, and why it's so important to the history of Louisiana. Until then, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or head to my website, weekendswithwhitney.net, for more on this or any of our other 53 shows. Have a great Sunday. We leave you with some gifts from Mother Nature.